Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Friday. It is Friday, January 27th, and I really have been trying to be better about coming on here and really just talking through the astrology, talking through kind of the daily jam. And for those people who want to further break down the astrology and ask questions, but also to jump on and do more free mini readings. I know that I tell you guys often I go on my social media sites, I go on Instagram and TikTok and all of those wonderful places. But if you would like to join me today and get a free mini reading, it's a tarot and simply give permission. That's all you got to do. So I'm going to put that banner up there to just kind of remind people that all they have to do is ask. And then meanwhile, hi, Ruth. How are you? Hi, Matt. Hi, John. Good to see you guys from Alden. Hey, Heather. How are you? So I will go over to the astrology. Now, I posted this on my Facebook, and supposedly my Facebook is also attached to my Twitter. I'm not sure which one it integrates with, but I'm hopeful that it at least gets out to whoever wants to use it. So Friday today, January 27th, only one thing is happening today, and that's the waxing moon is moving into Taurus. We had kind of shared on the Tuesday night Astrology and Alchemy podcast that this really is a time of stability, a lot of feelings that are requiring us to do grounding and centering and to make time for the things that are important to you. I would say in our predictive space, all of us who were meditating on this and talking about like, don't change your mind, hang in there. I think that, thank you, Katie and Ruth and Carson, welcome. I think that the feelings lately have been really chaotic. The feelings lately in the internal space has been really crazy. So the idea that you're going to be calm and reclusive and kind of in a hermit space, very much a dissociative, shutting down, apathetic to the crazy world around us feelings. This is the winter space. This is that time. So I wonder how it's been affecting you. I wonder how you're hanging in there. And then to know that the moon, the feeling, building, waxing in the sign of Taurus, that is that, I want to say fixed. I always say flexible, fixed, making it, the stubborn, stern, unmoving, very stable, though. I like to often think of my Taurus as an obelisk, as a mountain. Very sturdy, very strong, very powerful. Hi, Lori. Welcome. That is exactly what I'm feeling. I just want, you just want everyone to F off and just shut up and get out of my face. And especially the last few days, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of emotion. The moon moving through Venus, a very powerful planet of like female worry and concern and want and desire. And now into that earth sign of like, you know what? I need to just think about me. I need to focus on what I got to get done. I got to do the chicken wings. I got to vacuum. I got to clean up over here. And like this kind of feeling that we need to go inward. We need to focus on ourselves. We need to take it and do some deep reflection and just kind of, leave people alone for a little bit, and ourselves included. So if you've got someone who you feel like, well, they're avoiding me, they're going to cancel on me. If you're throwing a big shebang and wondering, is, more people going to show up or less people going to show up? It's probably going to be less. It's probably going to be, it's that stir. When you say stir crazy, people don't want to get out in it. And the people who are out and crazy and in it are usually forced to be there. And anything under force is never really a good thing, I don't think, as far as like humanity and human behaviors go. It usually backfires in your face. So I would definitely take the evening to stay in, watch a movie, clean the house, make some to-do lists, dust a little bit, do whatever it is that you do, but keep your brain thinking, not overthinking. Keep your mouth quiet. You don't need to ask questions or wonder why people are joshing you or ghosting you or any of those things. They're not. They're trying not to lose their shit. And so repeat that. People aren't ghosting you. They are trying not to lose their shit. So, the need to anchor down, buckle down, Focus on what you love. Tonight I'm going to be making a drive to go see a friend. I don't have a whole lot of money, so I won't be able to go crazy, but just to grab a snack and go for a drive. For me, I would usually be like, oh, I don't know, I should stay in. I shouldn't do anything. I'm not going to the club. I'm not going roller skating. I'm not going ice skating. I'm not going to some big event. I'm not going to a happy hour. I'm not going to go out with people. I'm going to drive in my car with the music on. And I'm going to think my thoughts and cry my cries and sing my sings. And I'm going to high five a friend and get a nice bite to eat and then drive back home and come home feeling better. Because, like some of you sharing in the chat room, you're not alone. And these last few days have been very manic, irritable, angry, emotional, and hot. Chaos and hot. And that's the way of it. It's not you. So thank you so much for joining in. Susie, welcome. Lori, proudly not a good time to reach out to someone who I have a rocky relationship with then? No, not unless you want it to be rocky. For those people who are able to see and utilize the patterns of behavior, knowing that people are crazy and erratic right now, you have to be very careful. Loki, the trickster, if you're a spiritual person and you utilize some of those frequencies, the trickster energy, the Joker, is afoot. So be mindful that if you're out there poking the bear, and I say this politically and nationally, don't poke the bear if you don't want it to bite your face off. Maybe you want it to bite you. Be careful of how that energy might move. So Robin says, yep, I embrace my crazy, but it has been a crazy week. I hear you guys. So if you would like personal guidance, if you would like for me to give you a free mini reading, I'll put it up here at the end, but I'm doing a spirit guide reading special. Usually my spirit guide readings are anywhere from $80 to $125 because it takes me about 2 hours to do them. I sit and meditate. I listen to music. If a song calls to me or I hear something or a name comes to me, I usually do the archetypes, who, what, when, where, why, visions, images, colors, songs, and I just put it all together in what is coming through in your frequency to give you some guidance. Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, I don't know. What's going to pop up when I connect with your energy? That is what my spirit guide sessions are about. And it's kind of helping people put synchronicities together, like, oh my God, I have that tattooed on me. Or, it's really fun to get the feedback and the testimonials back where they're like, you wouldn't believe that. I have a whole picture in my living room. And it's cool to utilize that spirit guide session to validate probably what you already know. But as far as finding your guides or seeing what messages are coming through, sometimes I like to do divination. Sometimes I like to do psychic channeling and intuition. And spirit guides is kind of a soft way of channeling where you're using your intuition, but allowing it to give you archetypes and associations. And you do so when you're completely dissociated. So I don't go down the wormhole of oh, I'm seeing macaroni and cheese, and that makes me think of this, which makes me think of that, which makes me think of this, and that you're sitting there interpreting or deciphering. That's not what these are. It's more of I'm able to give you visuals and audio and things of that nature to give you guidance. And usually it pans out in a really unique way, and I love doing them. So I run this special once a year. It's usually always in January to kind of prep for the year ahead. And those are $77 today. So if you guys want to invest in that, I would love that. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to save up for Kansas City. And you'll be seeing me kind of spam a lot of my reading specials, my photography specials, and different things that I'm hoping to book as I prepare for that trip to make sure I'm secure. But what we're doing right now is a tarot reading. This is one of my favorite decks. It really has grown on me. If you guys have followed me over the years, you'll know that I have so many tarot decks. It's not even funny. But I do, on occasion, pick up a new deck. In fact, sometimes young witches will want to get a new tarot deck, and they're just not sure which deck to buy. And the old superstition that you should never buy your first deck. And that really has to do with yin and yang energy, that you don't want to buy something you're already attached to because it might have so much of your energy on it and your associations that you're unable to read well for other people. the idea that something from the external is given to you, or that it comes to you by chance and that you're connected to it in that way. It comes from the outside, so it allows you to return to the outside. Do you have to do that? I don't think so. But I often will go out and someone will be like, hey, I want a tarot deck. I appreciate the tradition. I appreciate the science behind it. I have $50. Would you go buy me a deck? And I'll be like, absolutely. And then I send it and mail it to you and gift it. And I bought this for someone else. And after holding it and touching it and wrapping it and gifting it, I couldn't stop thinking about the deck. So I bought myself a version. So Heather, how do you reach out about the readings? You can go to my website at www.paranormalsarah.com and you can see all of the cool readings and specials and bone boxes and things that I offer there. Or you can do Venmo or PayPal. I think people have preferred Venmo and PayPal just because, it's so easy to use and it's probably a secure app already on your phone, in which case, put those there in the chat room. It's through paranormalsarah@gmail.com, the Paranormal Sarah. And my Venmo is Sarah Soderlund and my PayPal is Paranormal Sarah, but you can search with that email or you can contact me however you want, and I will happily reach out back to you and get that going. So meanwhile, let us pull a free card, and I want to go to the chat room now. So let me go there and see what do we got. Susie Q. Ah, yes, Lori. That's why they say don't buy your first deck. You don't want to be imprinted upon it. She said, technically, my husband got my first deck. Yeah, I think that's fine. Totally fine. My sister got me my first Rider-Waite deck when I was like 11. But my grandma taught us all how to read cartomancy with a playing card deck pretty young. So I feel like I've been reading regular playing cards for a very long time, and tarot cards were just like extra cool. So Susie, let's pull a card for you. Ooh. Okay, I always think of Beauty and the Beast, right? The chest of drawers that comes out and sings, but you've got some ghosts and some snakies and some even octopus coming out. No, it's a dragon. Sorry. Coming out of the cool ass shit in your cupboard. But the 7 of Cups, Susie. Cups, you have earth, water, air, fire. And the breakdown of the zodiac underneath that. Earth signs, water signs, air signs, fire signs. You start doing the math and it gets crazy. 7 of Cups. This is 7 under water. So water is our intuition, our life force. Think spit, think semen, think blood. It's the movement. It's the kind of matter and material that has a wave. Ooh, yeah. It's like a Barry White song, right? It's romantic. It's intuitive. It's hard to hang on to with a closed fist. Emotions, cups, vessels, intimate, swallow, cups. This is in and in your body life force. So think of water in that way. And then the 7. Okay, well, 7 is luck. 7 is an odd number. 7 is the second finger on your second hand. So not only are we doing relationships, but it's the second hand. That means you've done this before. You've been here before. You've been there, done that, got a t-shirt. And this is not high school sweetheart, college roundup. This is life romance, life relationship, life couple and cooperation with other energies. Can be a soulmate, twin flame. It can be a long lost best friend that you just love in many areas. But the 7 of Cups is going, I love so many things. I love the snake. I love the dragon. Ooh, I love the ghost. What should I take to Troy Taylor's Haunted America? Let me pick. And the idea that you're picking or plucking or gambling or making a choice or scratching your chin and being like, that is an illusion. I want to stop you right there because that's an illusion. You mean you can have it all? Yes, you can. It is not a pie mentality. Energy does not die. It only expands. So you've got information, ghosts of the past, dragons of myth. You've got all that. Take it all. This is your cupboard. Take what you want now, leave the rest later. You don't have to think of picking as choosing forever. So remove the emotions from the choice and know that if you have love in your life, we don't ever possess or own love or our lovers. So the Bible says, love is blind. Love does not covet. Love does not own. It doesn't. And you don't get to keep water in your hand. It evaporates, it moves, it absorbs. You can drink it, you can use it, but I will piss it out later. That's how it works. We'll absorb the nutrients and we'll take it with us for always. But the matter in which that it is when we experience it is not going to be what it is after we've loved it. I like the 7 of Cups. Close the cupboard and don't worry about the choices that you're making. Just know that you have them. Be grateful. If and when doubt of an emotion, replace it with gratitude. I really love that way of living. Lori says, oh, I love snakes. I have a pet snake. I also love snakes. It took me 10 years to talk my husband into letting me have one in the house, in a cage, not allowed to come out. I secretly let it out. And his name is David Hisselhoff. And he is a really mean snake. And he does not like to be touched or held. And I think it's because he was supposed to be shipped next day when he was a baby. And it took him 6 days. So I think that he hates life and he's just not for it. So he is an original corn snake. And I say that because he's not like the cool albino or, cool stuff that is bred into things. It's a, what do they call it? It's an 80s band name as well, but it's a word that snakes in their patterns where he has both spots and stripes. Spots on one side, stripes on the other. And he is like a lime green and brown and golden, like iridescent. It's a very pretty corn snake. Love him. David Hisselhoff, love you. He hates me. Go figure. Okay. So, Susie, I hope that reading finds you well. I hope that card makes sense. I hope that it applies to what you're going through. And if you have any questions, let me know. So then going back down through the chat room, Lacey W. Thank you for joining us today, Lacey. Welcome. Let's get you. Ba-doop. Lacey, I want you to thank Madame Lenormand, the beautiful woman who even collaborated with Napoleon. She was so good at predicting patterns of people that she was used to predict wartime efforts. And Madame Lenormand, she's famous for some of her cartomancy cards and ways of entertaining people with her divination, and instead of being hung at the gallows. So kind of a powerful woman using something so delicate and taboo. But she is kind of renowned and known most for her framing of intuition, that you should sit before you pull a card and you should ask yourself, what question am I asking? What do I want to know about? And you just say, money, love. You pluck out this theme, it's still pretty generalized. So your answer will be generalized. If you're specific, should I take the 1967 Chevelle and trade it for the 1967 Yenko Camaro and swap out the engine and do that? Like, if you're specific, the answer will be specific. So if you have the time to really formulate and frame your thought and the kind of guidance you need, and like tuning that guitar, kind of get into that frequency, and then pull the card and see what the universe has for you to consider. This is, no, it's not reticulated. It's like, because it's a band name. It's not like Def Leppard. It's, I'll figure it out. Don't fret. It'll come to me. It is going to bother me now, though. So let us, did you frame that question, Lacey? Did you frame that question? Okay, I'm going to read it aloud. Hope you did. Okay, the 3 of Swords. Anytime there's a 3, it's an odd number. Not that we hate odd numbers. I actually like them and prefer them. But odd means it's not going to unfold evenly. It's not going to be symmetrical. There's going to be something a little off. Hi, Mo. Welcome from Australia. I'll get you next in 1 second. This is a card that signifies like a third wheel. You're collaborating with somebody and then a third party comes in. Okay. If you've ever worked at Sprint like myself and you come in with a wet phone, you say, hey, I need to get this repaired. And you say, I'm sorry, we're a third party retailer. We're not actually a Sprint store. You're going to need to go to the actual Sprint store. Third party baloney. So you already know you're dealing with the number 3. It's an uneven addition to the teeter-totter. Things were balanced. Things were going so well. And now all of a sudden you have a new variable. And the variable, as it is shown in kind of a little bit of a heartbreak, this is an argument. This is a brainstorm. This is a brainstorm session. It's an air. It's in swords. Air is pointy, like what you could cut the air with a knife. Air is air is social, flighty, dramatic. Can you hear me? Mirror, mirror. Spells. Amen. Holy, holy, holy. It's air. It's communication. And now there's a third party. It's like arguing with someone and then they go, oh yeah, well, I'm going to call my mother. Let's ask her. Man, don't bring these people into this. This is between you and me. There's a third party that's been brought into this, Lacey, so be very careful. It won't, if it stops here, it won't break evenly. So you want to keep this going, if that makes sense. Mo, good morning from Sydney. It's 2:25 here, so not quite the morning. But I will say, Mo, I love Australia. I have plans in the next 3 years to go. Monday through Friday, I work in forensic psychology, and I predominantly specialize in heinous and violent crime and sex offenders for the last 2 years, sex offense specifically. And Mo, man, I work with so many cool-ass people out of Australia and their MATE program for the correctional facilities and Department of Corrections there. And I just cannot wait to be able to figure my life out to the point that I can go over there and do some internship and some collaboration. And I would just absolutely love to get over there. And I feel like I know people and have people and friends, and I love it. And you've got crazy octopus and big spiders and wild things happening in your indigenous genocides. And it's just a whole country. And I want to go. And I have the invitation. I just don't have the money. That's okay. We're going to make it work. We're going to find a grant, sugar daddy, something. In the meantime, did you frame your question, Mo? You know what you're asking about? You said love life. You don't have to tell us the specifics. That's the part of the psychic powers. I do not need to know. I am but a vessel. I'm going to just give you the answer of what the card says. Oh. Ooh, okay. Lot going on. Oh, snooty. Okay. What's going on? What is going on? Wands. Earth, water, air, fire. Thou shalt not pass. Or a wand. Or a wand. A wand is something that you use. It is a tool. It is a device. It is an instrument. It is an action. It is a behavior. And fire is also chaotic. It's hot to touch. You can't control a fire. If you try and put it in a jar, it goes out. That's not how fire energies or fire signs work. They like to burn shit down. They like to move. They like to run. They like to grow. They like to throw corn. They like to be on the move. They don't want to plan. My Sagittarius best friend, you know what? How about next month we go to that? They don't want to do it. They can't even, let's go now. Let's do it right now. That's fire energy. Those are behaviors. They can be spontaneous and impulsive. So we are already in the realm of what it is that you're doing, actions. This could be like sex life. This could be behaviors, things that you're doing. This could be, these are things you're doing. And what are you doing? The number tells me 6. The first hand, self, couple, third party, structure, handful, celebrate, whoop, whoop, whoop. Do it again. Independence the second time around. A really elevated relationship struggle. Elevated concerns for a third party. Elevated structure. Elevated celebration of completion. Now it's done. So like the way that I was taught how to do palmistry and astrology, it's all related to the fingers and the numbers. It's math. It's math. And 6 is an even number, but it is about nostalgia. So it's almost considering that you have 2 parts to your life. You have then, and then you have what's now. And like an old Christina Ricci movie, Mo, then and now is kind of important to expectations. If you're expecting this person to do what that person did, or expecting the prom to be like the prom was, or to go back to that first diner where you had that first kiss and the spark isn't the way that it was, it won't matter. But it'll also matter for everything. Because nostalgia, we can really get caught up in it. We can really get caught up in, why isn't this the way it was? Why isn't this as sweet as it was? How can I make it like it was? You can't. It isn't the same. It's the second time around, but now with new eyes. Maturity, experience, responsibility, and sometimes nostalgia and what we remember, it doesn't couple with that, with adulting and ugh. And so the Six of Wands is going to be doing things in a new way, approaching things in a new way, but with the heart of deja vu. You've been here before. You know what you love. You know what you want, but you're not going to do it the way you did. You're going to do it a different way. And you're not going to get stuck on how much you are sentimentally attached to something. You're going to focus on your goal. Don't be attached to anything but your goal. So then look at this card again and how they're depicting that. That you're going to do, you're going to move into that next space. You're going to walk past the people you once knew. Like, that's probably why he's being snooty. They're like, that's Frank. Remember when he used to be one of us? Look at him now on his horse. Fucking right. He's going to the party. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Know what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, and know that it will feel a little different and might even be separated from the people that you once knew. Horn snake with two patterns are. What is the word? I will find it right now before I do another reading because it is going to bother me that much. I'm going to sing so I don't have radio silence. Introduction, simple genetics, genes, genotypes, heterogeneous, corn snake genetics, RRBB, heterozygous, double heterozygous, the Punnett square. We all remember that from genetics. That's not what I'm talking about, but it is what I'm talking about because one of those things in the Punnett square is going to be what I'm talking about. Like if I go to a corn snake and I'm picking out a corn snake, where is Eric Dion when I need him? It'll talk about comparison with other species. Nope. It's about the pattern. And you're going to freak out when we hear the word because it is an 80s band name and it starts with the letter R. And it is, let's go to the detailed description. I'm not reading the chat room, so if somebody's already said it, I'm going to be so sad. It is not being used in any fucking website for some reason because it's like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to have to let this die, Sarah. Don't let it die. Genes, DNA, blue, example, homogeneous, recessive. That's not the word. It starts with an R and it's a 80s band name. I remember being like, oh, that's what that word means. That's what that band was doing when they did it. And it means like hybrid. It's a synonym for the word hybrid. And it starts with R. You guys, I'm a linguistics specialist and I can't think of it. Adulting is hard. It's weird. My brain's like responded, reticulated. No, we said that. It is a raconteur. No, that's another band name that I like though. It's not the Raconteurs. It's a snake. And my snake is a golden brown snake, corn snake. It's not reticulated. That's not it. It's a word that is hybrid for dual patterned. I'm going to call PetSmart today. It's okay. We're going to keep going, though. We're going to keep moving. You're very welcome, Mo. And don't forget, if you guys would like to take advantage of my spirit guide special today, I'm doing spirit guide stuff. So like what figures, hats, songs, colors, who, what, when, like past life stuff, Sarah. Yeah. Sometimes I get like time periods and stuff, and I will expand on that in my spirit guide session. There's $77. Steph said Razorback. No. Okay. Before we go to the next person, I'm going to look. A corn snake with 2 patterns is called. You guys have no idea how much this is bothering me. If I go to the corn snake morph market and I actually just go and like look at snakes, it will be in the description of the snakes you're looking at. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to find it. I feel it. Because there's mask, hypo, castani, microscale, sun-kissed, root beer. No. Really? It's not on here. Holy macaroni. I'm getting angry. Sarah, don't get angry. Just let it go. No, I can't let it go. I can't. What is, can I actually put in Google corn snake hybrid pattern, comma, 80s band? I'm gonna, you guys, I can't even right now. It's going to make me so angry that I'm going to go back into my Google and go back to the receipt of the snake that I bought and look at, and I'm also secretly mad that I didn't write it on his last thing, because I remember learning about it. This tells you how smart. I learned about it and I was so excited that I learned about it. And no, it's not recessive. It's like, she's like, look up band names. It's like, oh my God, don't be mad at me, guys. Don't be mad at me. I don't think it starts with an R. I think it starts with an M. I think it's a Motley. Right. I'm looking at Heather and she's like Motley Crue. It's Motley. I am so sorry we had this brain fart together, but now you know, even with a master's degree and everyone thinking that like I can publish books and do things, I cannot fucking think of the simplest of things. Motley Crue. Thank you. Just let's feel this. Let's just shake it out. I didn't even find it on Google. It was found on a chat. I love it when that happens. It feels good. It feels real good. It's a motley. He's a motley corn snake, which means he has spots on his head and stripes on his butt. Because I told the lady, she's like, do you want a really cool one? I was like, listen, I got 2 boys. We're learning about snakes. I need a corn snake because they don't get too big and they're not too crazy. They're easy to maintain. I need it to be cool looking, but I want it to be like something that I can teach. Like I want it to be a teaching thing. You know, like I want him to have something fucking cool about him that is cool. She's like, ooh, we've got the ones that have the bi markings, those, you know, and I was like, yeah, do it. And so he's like tri-colored and motley patterned and I love it when I can. I didn't even remember it, but when it happens. So anyway, that's David Hisselhoff, and he's a motley corn snake. And Motley Crue is an 80s band. So where were we? You guys have those moments too, right? I know you do. We all do. When Hawkswood. Hello, I'm from England. Could you please see if my son is trying to send me a message? Oh, when I read that, and I'm assuming that you are wanting me to do some medium work, which medium work, I'll be honest. Can I do that? Yes. Do I feel good about it? Yes, sometimes. Um, Usually reaching out and contacting someone, I do want to have their name. It does help me. It doesn't always, like Benjamin, you know. And I think it's important to clear your mind, to sit down, to be calm, and to be in a space where you're able to hear those messages. However, I usually don't do those live, but because you're asking, you know, absolutely, our loved ones are able to connect with us. Quantum entanglement tells me so. And by way of just thinking, calling out to them, it's very important to take a thought in a synaptic gap and move it through your vocal cords, through flesh, and into a sound that resonates the matter around it, even though you can't see. And it activates the space in which we are. And after the vessel dies, our beings and our consciousness and our energy absolutely still lives on. I can say that definitively between my life experiences that I've had. So, is your son and are your loved ones trying to connect? If you're trying to connect, it's very likely they are trying to connect. If you have some unresolved stuff that you'd like to and are yearning to talk with them, do it. And as much as I would love your money, and I'm honored to have your time, I don't believe that you need a third party person to speak to your loved ones that have traveled on. So I just don't. And I love to help people connect with their loved ones, but it's really just helping. It's not doing it for you. I almost feel like that takes away from the opportunity to do it yourself. But if you want to private message me, I will send you what it is that I am getting. I get kind of a dark haired person. I'm getting the name Benjamin, but it actually reminds me of somebody I knew named Brian, who was a quick living man. He loved to drive a stick shift and he was very fun, happy go lucky Irishman, actually, and just very impulsive, very wild, and very lovable by everyone, but very spontaneous. And I'm seeing the dark hair and the dark eyes, and I feel very comforted by that. But I also feel like there's a lot of people in the room and there's a lot of stuff. And again, I'm not going to be absolutely sure that that is your son unless we were kind of having that exchange. And I wouldn't want to ask you questions to validate. I would simply want to be like, is this making sense to you? If not, keep moving. And I do appreciate when mediums do that, when they're like, you have a grandpa, right? Okay. Yeah. Dead. Like, and they're mirroring your body language. I would much prefer to just tell you what I'm getting and say, does this make sense to you? So, yeah. So I hope that that finds you well. I hope that that is a little bit of what you were looking for. And I want to just share with you any piece that I might, that, is your son alive and loving, even without the vessel he was once in? Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, there we go. I am digging through here, looking through the chat. Stephanie, Susie, Heather, Lori, digging through the chat, digging through the chat. Look at the chat. Look at that. That's my band. I would have totally said that, said Steph. Aerosmith. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So we're caught up. We're caught up. Let me take a sip of my sippy sip. This is when I go to Kansas City, which again, I'm trying to raise money to go to Kansas City next month to check in on my dad because he got his kidney, but he's had 2 surgeries since because it didn't really go that well. And he's having some rejection struggles. That's okay. He just can't sit still. When I go to Kansas City, they have an Asian market right off the river market. It's a building. They have bullfrogs and eels and lotus tea and anise seasonings and everything that, you want to eat. in an Asian market. And lotus tea, if you've not had lotus tea, you don't know what you're missing. It tastes like really good Lipton tea, which I know is like a shameful Western American thing to say, but I like it. And it's comfy and it's really good for the central nervous system. So if you have been struggling with the solar flares, the gamma rays, the World War III, the price of eggs, just life, just life, try lotus tea. It's helpful. Yeah. So it's okay. If not, I'm waiting at the eye doctor. Oh, said Steph. Yes, Steph, let's pull you a card. Steph, are you thinking about the question? Because someone else, I think, said that they had a question. Oh, Heather is next. And then somebody else with a D name. I'm not forgetting you. It's, my brain. Steph. Ooh, Steph. Steph. Robin, you're next after Heather. Don't let me forget. Heather and then Robin. Steph, 9 of Cups. 9. 9 is almost not 100%. On Mount Everest, where the most bodies are dead, is right there, just short of the top, because they're like, hold on, we're almost there. Let me get my camera. Whoa! And they slip because they lose focus, because they start salivating a little too early. Don't start counting your eggs before they hatch, kind of a thing. And this is the 9. And we should be happy you're almost there. You should be. But it's the 9 of Cups. And don't you see this little Fantasia mushroom? He's doing the Russian dance. I can just see that. How did that song go? I can't think of it in my head because all I'm hearing is Aerosmith. But living on the edge, doing the Russian dance. That's this mushroom. This would be an amanita, and you would not want to eat this if you saw it. Okay? Might want to put it in somebody's tea if you don't like them. You know what I mean? But don't touch it, even though it's pretty. And look at those spooky trees. And this is the 9 of Cups saying, I'm almost there. We're almost married. This is like engaged, but not quite. This is all the really cool things, but not quite. And so you're like very prideful and exciting, but you're not quite. Be careful with your heart because it's not quite. And love never is, by the way. So there is that. But this is a good space for you, Steph. I really do like it. And keep going. Put in a little bit more effort. And I'd say whatever it is that you're waiting to come to fruition, is it going to be by Valentine's? I would say, beginning of March. I'm hearing a door. Hello? You're home early? Wonderful. Had a slight panic attack. Thought someone was breaking into my house. That's wonderful. Okay. Heather. This is the first. I'm going to do that real quick. This is the first major arcana card that we've had. And when often I'm telling people or helping to teach people, I do that too, by the way, if you want to book a class, how to read tarot, the 1 through 22, I don't know if you've ever seen this thing. Maybe you're a Viking, maybe you're Hindu, maybe you've read the Quran or the Torah, or maybe you've just seen it on a yoga mat somewhere in Target. The Tree of Life. This thing right here. Very, very cool. Very, very Christian scripture, if you want. Very, very based in astrology. But if you were to do the math of all where they connect, I can't do it backwards. You see all these little connection lines? There's 22 of them. The 22 pathways of life. Ha! The Chariot. What does the Chariot mean? The Chariot means you're going from point A to point B. The Chariot. You've got black and white, right and wrong, yes and no, good and bad, leading the way, balanced, symmetrical. I love how the creator of the card does that. In almost every tarot deck, you want to see how the artist depicts balance of movement. And do you see how they did that? Movement. So usually there's like a wheel because that's symmetrical. But you've got definitely the two things in the front, and they're usually a nod to the twofold path. The Chariot, he's got his little Templar up there. There's definitely some cool symbolism in here. They're like little sphinxes. and he looks a little nervous, but that's because he's moving and shaking and like this the whole freaking way, and he hasn't had his Dramamine. You know what I'm saying? So Heather, this is about, you're not where you're going to be yet. If you're in the middle of moving from Alabama to Florida, you're like in Tennessee. You're just not there yet. And that this is movement that you need and change that you need and elevation that you need. And you will have it. But right now, this is a transitory space. And that's really, really important to keep in mind, because a transitory space isn't one that you're going to feel very grounded in, regardless of how hard you try. So if you're trying to feel grounded and you're trying to feel stable and you just can't seem to get anything to stick and you're wondering, what the hell's wrong with me? The universe might just be having you in a place of movement, like a little hermit crab, and you've got to be able to take the stuff with you, and it's going to be you and your vessel that doesn't have to be the thing that changes. That's what's going to be with you in both places. So you can just be, maybe some emotional release technique, maybe some tapping, kind of just breaking into whatever might work for you there. All right. I think this might be the last reading as I kind of close up for the hour. I report back to work here at 3:00. So this was just my little break where I had someone stand me up for an appointment and I didn't want it to go unused. So Robin, one of my favorite people of all time, truly. Oh, Robin. Oh, Robin, what have you been doing? Robin. Wands. We talked about wands. This is fire. This is action. This is impulse. This is behaviors. This is routines. This is chores. This is doing the things. Look at that guy. He is so fucking tired of carrying these sticks, doing these sticks all on his own. It's just him and his sticks, and he's carrying them and no one's helping him carrying them. And he doesn't even have a trolley or a trough or a thing or a wagon or a chariot or nothing. Not 4 legs, not a horse, not a donkey, not a friend, nobody. Just him and his sticks. But it is the last bundle. It is the last bundle. And, this reminds me of my dad a lot, the 10 of Wands, because this is someone who says, you know what? Never mind, I'll do it myself. They don't want help, really. And if you ask for help, they'd be like, nah, I got it. I'm almost done anyway. And that it's this ability to receive and delegate help for the stressors that you have in your life. You see this? You could roll these things around or be doing something, but it's very diligent to getting the job done. I don't need your help. I finished this on my own. I built this on my own. I got it. It's very independent in nature, but it's also kind of, in many tarot decks, it's shown as a hearth in the 10 of Cups because it's like accumulation of being done. This in action is like the final curtain call on Sunday night of the play that's been on for 3 months, and it's the last show. Whatever this action, behavior, or chore that you've been stressing out and doing really all on your own is complete. Resolution. And you did do it on your own, but I bet your back hurts and you're a little tired. So don't be surprised if, as you kind of complete these tasks, that next month you're feeling pretty tired and feeling like you might need some downtime and some rest to just recalibrate. And that would be fine. Lori says, that sounds like me. It sounds like, I think it might sound like a lot of us. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If this was your first time, I usually go on every Sunday and every Friday. The last year, I haven't done much of that because, as I shared, my dad was sick and I just really felt like I was depressed and trying to work and trying to save money and worried, scared that every time my phone rang, it was going to be that my dad had died, or that my stepmom was not settled somewhere, or that something had happened. And it's really a frustration when, loved ones are calling and you want or have an expectation of a certain feeling, and it starts to change into something else because of things you can't control. For me as a Virgo, it's quite hard. And I don't like to share that energy with other people or anyone really until I'm able to process it. So I feel like I've had the time to process it. I'm still working through a lot of those emotions, but I feel like my containment and my boundaries are back to a space that I can comfortably do a reading and I can channel intuition and not feel like things are getting choked up in my body in certain places if it reminds me of loved ones that I have in my life, because oftentimes that's how intuition works for me. So if you would like to learn more about me, I'm a doctoral student working in forensic psychology. I really am interested in psychopathy and addiction. I work right now with sex offenders, but I also do private mentoring and work with people in a non-denominational space for end of life consult, crisis for veterans. And I love parapsychology. I work with Edinburgh and the Parapsychological Association in between research and sharing their studies and doing the peer reviews and just really trying to encourage people, if you want to learn more about yourself and science and spirituality, you can check out some of my books. You can check out paranormalsarah.com, and you can definitely go get a reading all to yourself. And I would be honored to do that with you and for you. Again, before I go, I just want to remind you guys that I do have that $77 spirit guide reading special. I would love to see what pops up when I connect with your energy, see what spirit guides, gods, goddesses, colors, and weird things you got brewing in your aura. And that's just for me to be saving up money and getting prepared for the spring. And for those of you who I might be able to see in Kansas City when I visit my dad next, maybe it won't be so stressful. I can sneak out and do some portrait sessions and some tarot cards over coffee and meet you in person. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know. And I will see you guys later on this weekend. Sign up for notifications for free. That way, when I go live next, you and a friend can pop in and we'll just continue to do free mini readings. And I might even pull in a different deck next time. So until then, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Don't forget the advice from the beginning of the show for the astrology and how to use that. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.